Hello and welcome to 2024.
Finally, we made it.
Yes. Welcome to For Book's Sake. I'm Heather Roberts.
I am Veronica Adams, and we are 1852 Media.
We are officially in 2024. Yeah, we made it, guys. We made it.
Yes,
we have a whole year ahead of us. So
after a nice holiday break, we are back and we are punchy.
We are. It is a new year, same industry. You know?
Ain't that the truth?
Oh my God. We thought it would be fun, because we're feeling a little bit punchy, to talk about some of the drama and controversies from 2023.
Yes.
Just to prep us, because we know 2024 is going to be giving. Like, we know
there's craziness to come.
There's craziness afoot.
Nary a year shall pass in indie publishing, in publishing in general, and especially in Romancelandia, without some craziness, some drama.
It's
authors, readers, influencers behaving badly, industry support professionals behaving badly. So
it's right. I've already seen little drops.
Oh yeah, we are 5 days in. Drops. 5 days in, and I've seen several posts about different things.
I mean, there's already one debut author who blasted an editor on Facebook because she didn't get her manuscript back to her in time, even though the editor communicated that she wasn't going to be able to get the manuscript back. We're talking like 3 days late. We're not talking about like weeks and weeks. And then she opened a PayPal dispute. It was a whole thing. We were 3-4 days into the new year at that particular point.
Yes. And I believe the receipts included confirmation that the original contract contemplated this situation. So the author's just, absolutely out of line in this case.
Right. And that consent was given to extend the deadline.
The editor performed within the bounds of the contract, and the author's just making some bad decisions.
So we're already feeling it in 2024. Mm-hmm. We know. And if you're like, what crazy thing, what could be crazier than what has already happened in the past? I mean, friends, the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit. There is no limit.
Listen, some crazy things happen every year, and the next year just goes, hold my beer.
Yeah.
We're going to take it up a notch. Or something new that you haven't even thought of is going to be the thing that just blows your mind in terms of what's crazy.
Yeah. And what is unhinged behavior? Like what is outside the realm of reality? I would like to say I'm going to be surprised this year, but I'm probably not. Not a lot can surprise us anymore.
To just suppress my surprise because, frankly, publishing is really sort of like the Wild West, right? Like anybody can do anything. Honestly, there are no regulations. There are no rules.
We've talked about that before. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. You can be and do whatever you want to. And maybe you make money and maybe you don't based on those decisions. But you're still free to act
as unhinged as you'd like.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can cultivate whatever attitude and persona you want to. You can engage in whatever kind of behavior you want to.
Yeah.
The world is your oyster, so to speak. And there are some people out there making some really batshit crazy decisions about how to make that oyster their own.
That is 100% true. So let's look back so that we can look forward.
Yes. What can the immediate past teach us about what we might expect in 2024?
I know. I mean, honestly, I don't know which one of these is the most. I'm going to use the word unhinged because I just feel like that encapsulates it. I don't know which one is the most. So Susan Meacham, we hadn't yet started the podcast when this whole controversy went down.
Yes, this predates For Book's Sake.
Yes, for those that don't know, well, technically we had started it, but that was a whole thing, and we had to re-record some episodes.
Yes.
Anyway, we hadn't officially published it. Okay. Susan Meacham is the author that unalived herself.
Yes. She's the zombie author, if you will. Back from the dead.
In 2020, she allegedly passed away. And then in 2023, turns out she didn't. She didn't.
Yep.
She
Yep.
didn't.
Just showed
And
up on social media and was like, "Hey guys, I'm not dead.
I'm not dead.
How you been?"
The worst part, I think, well, there's many bad parts about this, right? But there were like charity things that
Yes.
happened
Yes.
for the family, for her, for, like there was gifts given,
Mm-hmm.
if you will. And
Well, and
that's just
this arguably turns her ghosting everyone, if you will, into a crime
correct.
because
Allegedly
gifts were
fraud.
given, funds were raised, fraud was engaged in order to induce people
Yes.
to take sympathy on her family and try to support them during their grief and their time of need. And
Uh-huh.
I believe a lot of readers bought Susan's books thinking they
Out
were doing
of the
so
kindness of their
posthumously.
heart. Yeah, out of
Yeah,
the
to
kindness of their
support the
hearts.
family. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And she benefited from those royalties, I have no doubt.
for sure. For sure.
Hmm.
So yeah, that that was pretty unhinged.
Yeah. So if you're
That
desperate
rates
for
up there.
sales, if you're desperate for sales and thinking of faking your own death to turn your brand around, sorry, someone's already done it. Like
Someone's already done it. Already done it.
you're gonna need a new scam.
Oh man. Well, speaking of things from the past that happened and then popped back up in 2023, we
Yes.
must touch on Felina Hopkins.
Oh, poor Felina.
I
Poor Felina.
Felina.
So
So
anyone
go ahead.
the Felina's villain origin story, if you will, is begins with her attempt to trademark the word cocky.
Yes.
Because she has a successful series based on the trope of heroes being cocky, right? Cocky
Yes.
was in the title for series and individual books. And she had a lot of success with that. So, of course, she wants to protect something that's worked well for her. Legally speaking, not necessarily the brightest idea. And it definitely
She then
earned her a
sued
lot
over
of
it.
ire from people in the industry, other authors who also use
Yeah.
cocky. There's
Yeah,
an
not
entire
only did
backlash series to this.
yeah.
And she did in fact get sued, as Heather said. So that's where Felina's infamy comes from. A lot of readers know her
Yes.
and love her books, but then in terms of like her industry reputation, she is a bit infamous because of her attempt to trademark the word cocky.
Right. And then in 2023, she went missing.
Yes.
She unfortunately, it appears she had some sort of mental health issue from
Yes.
in hindsight now.
The scant reporting on the incident definitely has that sense to it that perhaps there was some sort of personal crisis or a mental health
Yes.
issue.
Some correct. I wouldn't
Right.
the details upon that are unclear.
Right.
But
And
she
for her
didn't
privacy, they should
yeah.
be.
I'm not getting into that because I
Yeah.
don't know. But
Right.
her name's popped back up because she went missing. She apparently was arrested after some type of police interaction
Yes.
that may or may not have been a short car chase, allegedly. And then she bonded out and went missing.
Yeah.
She then did pop back up. It's
Mhm.
my understanding she is alive and well, from all I know, and
Yes.
I've not followed up with what has happened since that. I mean, certainly it's for her
Yeah.
own privacy, but
I
I'm
don't
sure you
have
can
any idea
Google.
if there's like any sort of legal trouble that arose from this, but I do believe she failed to appear in court when she was due, and
Yes,
that's what kicked off the search for her and her family's concern about her whereabouts and well-being. So
yeah,
yeah,
but
some
that
personal
is
drama among authors
something
in
else.
Romancelandia. Uh-huh.
And then, okay, let's see. What do you which one do you
Where
want
do
to
we
go
go
to? Where do
next,
we go
Heather?
next? I mean, listen, this list is not all inclusive.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God,
if
no!
you
These
have
are like
more,
highlights.
these are
We
highlights.
in the interest of full disclosure, we did 20 minutes of chit chatting before we started recording today, and these were just like the top 6 or 7 things we could think
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
immediately.
off the top of our heads. And we've probably done
They're,
episodes on other things that
of
would fit
course,
into this category.
yes, for
So
sure.
this is one that happened at the end of last year that I
Okay,
think requires our conversation, or at least a little
let's do
bit.
it.
Mark Dawson and the allegations against Mark Dawson.
Okay, this one really upsets me, like fundamentally, because Mark has such a presence and an established reputation as a professional in the marketing part of our community.
Yes.
Like he
Yes.
is an advertising guru, he is a book marketing guru. And the
He's an
idea
expert
that
in our
he,
field.
right, the idea that he is potentially guilty of what he's been accused of and is perhaps not as ethically and morally upstanding as he has led everyone to believe he is, just burns my biscuits. It really pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah. So the allegations against him involve plagiarism.
Yeah.
There is a Reddit user. If you Google Mark Dawson
Hmm.
plagiarism allegations, it will pop right up for you.
Yes.
And you can go and read those allegations. There's a Reddit user who has taken passages from Mark's titles. Mark is
Yes.
also an author. That is where he gets a lot of his credibility from.
Right. He has personal experience. He has
Correct.
made millions and sold millions of
Yes.
copies of his books, which is where, like Heather said, his credibility comes from.
Right. And so the allegations are that he has plagiarized portions of some of those books from other authors.
Yeah.
And that is a very serious allegation
Hmm.
in our industry, and frankly strips him of a lot of credibility
For
because
sure.
he is touting certain, the ability to write in certain ways,
Yeah.
um, and make money in certain ways. And if you are not actually doing the one that's, you know, doing the base thing that is giving you the credibility to say these other things,
Right.
that whole thing falls apart. I've seen a lot of authors distance themselves from him. I've seen a lot of authors vague book about
About,
this
yeah.
particular situation.
Well, if you read the Reddit thread, this isn't just like two or three passages that somebody thought sounded similar.
There's a Google
Like
Doc.
that
Yeah,
this has been thoroughly vetted and researched, and the number of times entire phrases or sentences seem to appear in Mark's books when they were previously published in someone else's works. I mean, it's pretty damning.
it's pretty
It's
high. I mean, we are
he's
not
got
a
a lot
court
of
of
explaining to
law.
do, you know?
Yeah,
Like
we are not ones to say yay or
excuse me.
nay. That is not our role here. We are
Right.
simply passing along the information as it stands. This is for educational purposes only.
Absolutely. Go find the
But
Reddit thread in the Google Doc
yeah,
and see for yourself what we're talking about, because
but it's a huge allegation,
yeah, it's a lot.
and really definitely needs to be discussed and looked at. And some of
Well,
these
and
authors, who are the ones who've been allegedly plagiarized should
mhm,
be, taking a deeper dive into this.
absolutely. I've seen some folks participating in the dialogue on Facebook about all of this, saying that they had commented on it or asked if Mark would comment on it in his Facebook group, the self publishing formula group, and their posts were removed, of course. I
Hmm.
understand Mark has also deleted his TikTok since this story broke,
I've
which
not seen any statement from him. Have you?
no, I have not. And he is still actively promoting his books
Yeah.
on social. It's an interesting
Just
approach.
in my opinion, if the allegation is blatantly false,
Yes,
in my opinion,
yes, I know
I
where you're going with
would
this.
lightning round fast be putting out a statement that
Uh-huh.
these allegations are blatantly untrue
I'd
and
also be sending a cease and desist to Reddit to have the post taken down and to Google to have the Google Doc
100%.
removed.
100%. So the fact
Immediately.
that those things have not happened really concern me, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
it definitely looks funny.
It doesn't look great. Doesn't look great. So, yeah, friends, Google that one. And it also goes to show you that people, some in this industry, there's a lot of people who claim to be experts. We claim to be, we are in the expert,
We hold
claiming to
ourselves out
be.
as experts.
Yes. I'm not saying that we don't, but I feel like at least we do our best to be
Yes.
transparent and honest
Hmm.
and let clients and others know of our limitations. If I
Absolutely.
can't do something, I am not going to bullshit you and tell you that I can do
I
something. Like
yeah. Listen, I'm
100%.
I am here to help you succeed, and if I can't do that, I'm not going to take your money and pretend to be able to make it happen for you because you're just going to go tell all of your author friends that I
Right.
suck, and I don't need that.
Yeah.
I would rather be honest and say, "Hey, I cannot help you with this. Let me see if I can connect you with somebody who can." Or best of luck, let me know if it works out for you so that I can tell other people who approach me how you resolved this. You
I
know,
mean, our formula for the business
yes.
is I would like to be in business for a long time.
Yeah.
I would like to be in business. We've been in business since 2016. I would like to be in business in 2056.
Yep.
I would like to be in business for a long time. And you don't get that way by taking these shortcuts and
Yep.
screwing people over.
Right.
You just don't. So,
Being dishonest, being unethical. And you have to
you don't.
understand, Heather and I had it beaten into us through our graduate education,
Yeah.
the necessity of being ethical.
We've in
And
fact passed tests that have told us that we are ethical.
I'm ethical enough to practice law in almost every state in the union. How about you,
Exactly.
Heather?
Yeah. I passed that test twice.
Girl, you took it twice?
Yeah, because I was thinking about getting licensed in another state and my
Oh, your first score
MPRE,
wasn't.
it was no longer valid. It was after five
Oh,
years. It's valid. So what
you
we're
know they don't
talking
do that
about,
anymore. You can
what?
actually, yeah, you can have your original score. Like, there's, yeah, that might be
That's some
jurisdiction by
bullshit.
jurisdiction, but there are places where, as long as your first score was
A
sufficient for that
pass.
jurisdiction, yeah, because they scale it right, and the number is
Right.
different in every state. So, yeah,
Yeah, I was considering getting licensed in another state. And so I had to go and retake the ethics exam because my first one that I took was now expired. So
right.
I took it twice. And it was actually very funny as a licensed attorney going into that ethics exam. I know this is a major side
Sitting there
tangent
with
we've
all the
gone
baby
on.
law students.
Yes, who are like literally like almost crying,
Uh-huh.
like just so nervous. And I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there sipping my coffee, like I barely studied for this thing. So
Takes you back to the days when you were in the law library as a 3L and all the
yeah.
first years come in and they're doing their group study together and like flashcards
Yeah.
and stuff. And yeah, super cute.
I was like, I'm going to be embarrassed if I don't pass this since
For
I've
real.
been a practicing attorney for 5 years. But yeah, it was very
For real.
funny. Anyway, I passed. It was no problem.
Yay!
Yay. But yeah, that's the point. We have been
We have a
the
higher standard of
ethics.
ethics than a lot of
Yes.
people in this industry just because of our backgrounds. And
Correct.
this because this is a completely unregulated industry where anybody can really do anything they want to within the terms of service of social media and retailers.
It's the Wild
There
Wild
there
West,
are a
like we
lot of
talked about.
there are a lot of opportunists out there who are scamming people left and right every chance they get.
Yeah. And so that's my caveat. Just
Yep,
ask questions, be very wary of who you work with. If people
absolutely.
are not willing to talk about their ethics, if they're not willing to, talk about their moral lines and what they will do and what they won't do,
Mhm,
then they're probably willing to do anything. And if
mhm.
that's your jam, go for it. I mean, it's probably going to be a flash in the pan, short-lived success, but, you know, that's your
Or
choice to be made.
we can go back to 2021 when people are bowing out of the industry altogether because their ghostwriters stole actual entire
True.
passages
Yeah.
from other authors' books.
Yeah, that happens too. I mean, or you get banned from retailer platforms, which has happened to authors in the past who played fast and loose with the rules. I mean,
Book
these things
stuffing.
happen. Book stuffing.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the days of book stuffing. So,
The good old
anyway,
days of KU.
be careful who you work with. I mean, I did a TikTok the other day
Mhm.
about I'm dealing right now with, I'm fixing a Shopify store for a
Yeah.
client who had engaged somebody who said that they were an expert in making these Shopify websites. And she charged her $2,000, which would have been a great deal. Listen, anybody trying to
Yeah,
do direct sales,
it's a
Shopify
that's a
webs, yeah,
solid price for having your Shopify set up, given all the
yeah,
work involved in that.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to say, like, Shopify
It's a fair price
websites,
for the work.
it is a lot of work. We are
Mhm.
not talking about a small undertaking here. This is it is a large undertaking. You need to
It's
make, it takes a lot of work to get it to not only work properly, but look pretty and make it
yes,
look effortless.
yes.
Yeah, it's like makeup that looks natural. It takes a long time to make that happen.
It's a great analogy.
Yeah. Or renovating an old house to make it look
Yeah,
fresh and modern. It's like,
yeah,
oh, it looked that. No, like you had to do a lot of work to make it that way.
yeah.
Anyway, so $2,000 would have been a steal. A steal.
For what the author was
Yeah.
promised.
The problem is that she didn't do it. And so she did some things, but then it just turned into this massive mess.
Yeah.
And so now I'm having to come back in and clean it all up. And I've spent
Mhm.
way more than the
Mhm.
time I had initially quoted and allotted for it. But I'm doing it because I told her that I would do it for this price. And
Sure,
that's
sure.
what it is. But,
She's
oh my
also had to
God.
pay you an additional amount of money that
Yeah.
was not inexpensive for your
Not
time to
inexpensive.
come in
Correct.
and do the cleanup.
And right. And I honestly probably should have charged more for the amount of time I'm
Mhm.
doing. But that's neither here nor there. That's, me trying to give this person a deal because I felt bad for her. But yeah, it's the whole thing. And also she's been a past client. She's good
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
If you're listening, hi.
We love you.
We love you. I've been tortured by your website, but I love you. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. It is what it is. And just know that if you're hiring people to touch your stuff or taking advice
Yeah.
from somebody in this industry who's it's going to affect your stuff, know where it's coming from. Just know where it's coming from. We've gotten a little bit off track, but yeah, it's relevant. Let's see the next.
Consider that your general marketing tip for today. Like just
Yeah, consider that your general marketing tip for today. Listen, 2024 is going to be a little fast and loose here. We're just going to be, we're going to have fun with this. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll have some guests. Maybe we'll bring guests on in 2024. That could be a good time.
we should totally do that.
Yeah, we got to bring some people
Yeah.
on. If you're
Yeah.
interested in coming on, hit us up. All right, other favorite drama, Nate Lemke. I mean,
Our
Nate
boy
Lemke.
Nate.
Our friend Nate. My guy.
The Matt Rife of the book world.
You're not wrong. Oh, you're not wrong. That's so funny.
Caveat. No, I'm not going to say that. That's mean.
I mean, you can. But yes, the
The
Matt
less
Rife.
attractive Matt Rife of the book world.
I mean, sure. Well, that is why Matt Rife became popular because
Well, I
he's
mean, the crowd work, the relationship with women, social
which
media.
allegedly Matt Rife planted those crowd people, and it wasn't even authentic crowd work for all those clips and stuff. Anyway,
Shocker.
I know I'm shocked. You're shocked. We're all shocked. But Nate Lemke, he is the one that came onto TikTok with the, just original idea to
Pixie dream
uplift,
girl.
yes, uplift, women's books to ultimately sell his own and get him on the New York Times bestseller list, which he couldn't actually even logistically do because of the way in which his release was structured. Yeah, and then it all just backfired on him because he was misogynistic, also a misogynistic
Well,
asshole. I mean,
the content was troublesome. Nate himself was troublesome. Like it's just
the marketing effort was troublesome. The whole thing wasn't good. Wasn't good. I don't know if Nate has released another book or anything, or if that is to come. We shall see. What unhinged marketing theory will happen this year? I don't
yeah.
know.
Or what and I hate to say this because it continues to happen, what men will do to behave badly in spaces where women have set up their own networks and environments and are having a conversation amongst themselves that don't really involve men, and yet that
Yeah.
men feel the need to try and benefit from, or that they feel
Insert.
entitled to enter, yeah, and insert themselves into. Yes.
And yeah. And do it in a way that is icky. Because, like, there are men in this industry who I absolutely adore
Oh my God,
and
there are
who
so
are
many
not
incredible men.
icky.
Yes. Yes.
Don't do it in an icky way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and don't be icky to the men either, ladies.
Right.
That happens a lot too.
That
That's an
is
episode. We could
that
do an
is
entire episode on that.
well, speaking of, that leads right into the Kraken hockey drama.
Alex. Ugh.
Yeah. Don't be
I'm a hockey
icky.
fan. Yeah.
We
This was
represent a lot of
bad.
hockey authors.
We
We love
do.
hockey
Yes.
authors. I will say it irks me a little bit, personal irk, that I see a lot of hockey romance being pushed out on Book Talk, and like no one's talking about like the original hockey. Not I don't want to say original hockey authors, but like the hockey authors who've been writing hockey exclusively
Right.
or almost exclusively since like
Well, like,
2011,
can,
2012. Like
contemporary authors decide they're going to write a sports romance. Hockey is the sports romance subgenre that seems to sell the best. So
yes.
they enter the space, and then Book Talk is taken up by conversing about this contemporary author's hockey book.
Right.
When the authors who consistently write hockey romance and have built entire careers around the subgenre maybe don't necessarily get as much airtime or play.
And there's a difference between okay, so the other thing is there's books with hockey in it where it's like real hockey, right? Like it's because the authors themselves are hockey fans and there's like actual hockey references and games and things like that. And then there are romance books where the hero just happens to be related to hockey and there's absolutely no understanding of the sport. And those types of books are the ones that seem to be getting a lot more interest, hype, notoriety
The fluffy
than
hockey.
the fluffy hockey, the hockey light. That like the hero could literally be any profession at all ever.
Yes. It just happens to be
It
hockey
just
in this
happens
case.
to be
Yeah.
hockey for marketing purposes. And that's and then people are like, I'm in my hockey era. I'm like, no, you're not. You just happen to like a really steamy book. I mean,
But back to the
anyway.
controversy,
Back
Heather.
to the controversy. Man, do I
Heather,
get
Heather on her
diverted.
hockey romance soapbox, which is funny because it should be me complaining about that because,
I
I am actually a
well,
fan of the sport.
I
And
guess it's just I represent a lot of hockey authors and I see
they're like
sometimes their
not the fluffy
frustration.
hockey authors, though. Let's be
Right.
clear. Like you're the authors that you work with who write in the subgenre tend to be the ones who write about actual hockey in addition to whatever the romance is in the book.
Yeah, like there's all romance, but there's like a story too, and like there's interest in the team. Like you get to know the
Mm-hmm.
team and the teammates, and there's different like yeah, it's not just like insert hockey here.
Right.
It's hockey, and so if you're into that, I have a whole list for you.
Heather can hook you up.
I can hook you up, but in this case, yeah, there was Kiara Lewis is a book talker, a book talker with a lot of followers,
Very prominent, yes.
very prominent, and there became a controversy drama where she was making some inappropriate videos, comments, and was asked to stop. And then it turned into a thing. Asked to stop by the player's wife. And it wasn't just her, I should say. There was a lot of people that were doing something similar, sliding into their like Instagram comments on like
Just
pictures with their children. Just
hypersexualizing this particular
yeah,
hockey player as a representative of the subgenre, as a man who could plausibly be the hero in every hockey novel.
it was gross. It was really
Yeah,
gross.
it was. Icky.
Hypersexualizing real people. Yeah. And putting your fantasies from these books onto a real person.
Yeah.
Really gross.
Yeah.
Really
Well,
fucking
and
gross.
the team got in on the action at one point and was engaging
Yes.
in some of the hyping up of the book talk angle, trying to get book talkers to engage with the team's social media content.
Right. They were
It's just a
trying
bad
to
bad
make it a
situation all the way
moment.
around.
Oh no. Are you there?
I'm here now. Can you hear me?
No, you're not. Oh wait, you
Can
are
you hear?
there. I
Hey,
can
can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Oh, God bless. Let's hope this doesn't. 2024.
Mer- Mer-
Woo!
Mercury was just retrograde. It's not anymore, but like that punk is
let's
still messing things up.
yeah, let's hope that doesn't do that again. But yes, anyway, so it was not great. It was a not great time. And it made, of course, the romance book world once again look like flighty, over sexualized women who are just hysterical and can't
Hmm.
control themselves.
That's right.
Love it. Love that
Yep,
for us. So,
that's right. There are people out there trying to put us back in the kitchen and take away our rights to vote because we keep
right?
acting a fool and we keep.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths. All right. The last one
Don't
on
do
my.
anything to somebody else you wouldn't want done to you. Like, how hard is that?
It is not hard. It
You
truly
want some
isn't.
stranger on the internet talking about you the way these particular book talkers were talking about Alex? It's just so
No,
gross.
it's so gross. It's so gross. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. And don't feel when you see, just because somebody is doing it and you're like, oh, well, then I can do it. No, no, take a step back. Be like, no, that's not okay. Call them out. It's okay to call people out. It's okay. The last big one happened at the end of the year. So I feel like that is also something. And also while we were on break, so we didn't really get a chance to talk about it.
And boy, would we
Kate,
have talked about it
boy,
too.
would we have. Kate Corain, I mean, she definitely took 2023 out with a bang,
Yeah.
with her
She
actions.
took her potential career with her.
She sure did. She sure did. For those who don't know, Kate Corain was a debut author of a YA title. She had a publishing deal. She not only had a great publishing deal, but she also had a deal with a book box subscription
Yeah.
company that is very prominent and
It's
was
just an ideal setup for a debut author, period. Like
yeah,
this is the dream.
literally the dream. Like
Yep.
we've talked about traditional publishing before and how oftentimes you don't get support, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
She had
Could
all
only
the
have been
support.
better had Reese picked it up and decided to option
Yeah.
it for a film. Like literally the only thing missing from the equation here.
There was nothing bad. Like she was on the trajectory. And instead of realizing her good fortune, frankly, and privilege, she instead took it upon herself to make fake Goodreads profiles and go on to other debut novel like Goodreads
Like
pages.
authors who had contracts with her publisher. They are her fellow
Yes.
debut authors at her imprint, at her publisher.
Often they shared agents as well and would go and downvote their books on lists, would go and put one-star reviews. She was review bombing them. She was doing all of this. She made like 20 different Goodreads profiles to accomplish this. And then, and her biggest, the way that she got caught was because then those fake Goodreads profiles would go and like upvote her book. And so it was very obvious. And so she was caught. A Twitter user found out this, tried to deal with it in privately. Like had literally they honestly, I give them major credit and kudos for trying to handle it behind, not publicly, right? Like behind the scenes and all of that and just, deal with it privately. And unfortunately she doubled down, Kate did, and then produced I can't. She then produced a conversation thread of her and this other person saying where the other person was a friend of Kate and allegedly. And that this other person had done these things, and Kate was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you did these things." Well, it turns out that was a
It's
completely made
Kate.
up thread.
Yeah.
She made up that
The
thread.
rogue actor does
Yeah,
not exist,
it does not
and
exist.
Kate produced the receipts by manufacturing them.
Correct.
Yeah.
The most alarming, and I wish I could say surprising, but it's not, part about all of this is that a lot of the authors whom she attacked were authors of color.
Yeah.
So not only is Kate in a place of privilege with the deals that she received as a
Yeah.
white author in this very white
Yeah.
space, she then, for literally no fucking reason, decides to attack her fellow debut authors,
Yeah.
other authors. I think an indie author was even on that list of color because racism. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
fuck, Kate?
Literally because of racism.
Yeah. And then when the jig was finally up, when it all came out, that this was all true and all of that, she
She
issued
had
the,
engaged in all of these acts and that she
yeah,
hadn't, in fact, done everything she was accused of.
she then released the worst apology I think I've read of 2023.
Mhm.
We've read many apologies. That one was awful.
It
It was
was pretty
truly
terrible.
terrible. She blamed it all on her mental health issues, which, if she has mental health issues, absolutely she should get those addressed. But she took no accountability. It was a diversion. This is because of my mental health issues.
Yes.
You can have mental health issues, but you are the one, like, it's not like a second person doing it. You have to take accountability. Just like if you are an addict, for example, and you do bad
Addiction is a
things when
mental
you
health
are
issue.
correct, and you do bad things when you are an addict, it's not the addiction, so it's your fault. You did
Right.
those things. You need to take accountability. They teach you that in any sort of therapy program. You need to take accountability for the things that you did while you were under the addiction, while you were
Well,
acting in that way.
right.
So
And
it's the same way with any mental health disorder.
the apology's complete lack of accountability smacks of hiding behind the mental illness rather than
Correct.
simply offering it as an explanation.
Right.
And there's a big
Which,
difference between those two things. And in this particular case, Kate set herself up to hide behind it rather than to acknowledge that she's dealing with it and
correct.
also the impact that it has had on the people that she hurt.
Right. There was no acknowledgement or
Mhm.
understanding of that
Right.
at all. And then, of course, she lost her publisher, she lost her agent. The whole thing went down the tubes.
Yep.
For what? For what? That
Mhm.
is how to blow up your career in a few easy steps. I
Yeah.
mean, she provided the roadmap.
Well,
So,
and also just be a like mental illness aside, like a completely vile person because
yeah,
the animus toward authors of color just blows my mind.
yeah.
It just blows my mind. Like what
We've already discussed
what is wrong with people?
yeah, at what a disadvantage many authors of color have in this industry. I venture to say all authors of color, because of how
Mhm. Sure.
racist the book publishing
Yeah.
industry has been at
And
its origins.
and how much harder the authors of color who have met some measure of success,
Yeah,
how much harder they had to work to achieve that
right.
than white authors.
And this girl had it all laid out to her on a silver platter, and she
Mhm.
just decided to blow it up.
Yep. And also in the process make it harder for the authors
Yeah,
who are part of a group who have historically had to work harder anyway. Like,
right.
just
What?
listen.
What? We don't
Sometimes
need you.
sometimes the trash takes itself out. I really genuinely hope that Kate gets treatment and help for her issues, but
Absolutely.
also I'm thrilled that she will most likely not be a part of our community moving forward.
Same. And thank you for that Taylor Swift quote. I much appreciate it. I might be printing that out and putting it in my office this year because
Oh my god, did I do that?
you totally quoted Mother, and that's all right. It's the 2024. It had to cross over
What did I
into this
say?
episode. Sometimes the trash takes itself out.
Jesus Christ.
Not even kidding. I have the exact quote, like, as a note for myself to go and make myself a sign because I literally love that quote so much.
It's a good one. I guess I
It
didn't realize
is.
she said it. That
The
must be where I picked it up.
the whole quote is there's no point in actively trying to quote unquote defeat your enemies. Trash takes itself out every single time.
Oh, she was talking about Kim and Kanye, huh?
She sure was. Gotta love Taylor.
I must have subconsciously absorbed that one and filed it away for just this moment so that you could call me out on it. And once again, Taylor could find her way into the podcast.
Always, always. Honorable mention of unhinged behavior last year
Yes.
must include
Us talking
this.
about Taylor in every
Oh,
episode
yeah.
of the podcast.
That's your Easter egg, okay? That's just your Easter egg. No, actual fist fights at book conventions.
Oh my God, I know. I can't. I just,
That has to be an honorable
we are
mention.
all adults here, folks.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not bring that into 2024, please. Let's leave that type of behavior at home. We're going to book conventions for a good time. We don't need fist fights. So yeah, let's not do that.
It did happen, though. Among other
100%
things,
happened.
at that
Among other
particular
things.
convention.
Yeah, among other
About which
things.
I have heard many other things because I did not attend. My knowledge is all secondhand.
I did not either. I'm going to try to get to more conventions this year.
Mhm.
We shall see. That's one of my to-do lists is to update our event list that I
Yes.
track all of the book conventions. We are in January. And yeah, so
Fun
should be a
stuff.
good time. Should be a good time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to 2024 and we will keep you in the loop
Seeing if
of
it can top 2023.
all the behavior,
Uh-huh.
yes, as well as good marketing tips. I mean, this industry is constantly changing and evolving. There's so much that we can talk about with different things that keep popping up every single day. I mean,
Yep.
AI keeps changing. There's multiple lawsuits. I think maybe next time this is what we talk about and do a little bit of a deep dive on the multiple lawsuits that are currently ongoing regarding AI
Yes,
right now
absolutely.
and how they can and will affect our industry because I feel like we're in a unique position and a place to talk about that. And there are several going on right now. So crossing fingers for some regulation there because that'll be a big
Help.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's, yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of
So
moral and ethical obligations.
yeah. We are your
Tech bros behaving badly.
right. We are your place for book controversy updates, news, as well as marketing news, tips, tricks, and keep you on the cusp of publishing in 2024. So thank
And
you for being
also
here.
random pop culture references.
Oh, yeah. And Taylor Swift quotes.
Evidently.
But truly, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for being
Yes.
here. We have
appreciate you.
we have over 800 listens to our podcast. I can't even believe it. I think we did 27 episodes last year. 20. I'd have to count. It was almost 30 episodes, but that's
Until the winter
insane.
break happened.
Yeah, until the winter break happened. So this is officially season 2, where I figured each year is going to be a different season. Yeah, officially season 2 of the podcast, episode 1, and I can't thank you all so
800
much.
listens.
Isn't that wild? That doesn't even
Amazing.
count YouTube or the tube of you, as I like to say.
The tube of you.
It
Yeah.
doesn't even count that.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's great.
Thanks for
So
listening, guys.
great. Thank you so much. And we look forward to bringing you more episodes this year of
Absolutely.
relevant content. So until next
And
time.
Taylor Swift quotes.
Yeah.